The tips that I'm sharing in this video are the exact tips that I used to reduce my screen time on my phone by 70% in 1 week. So I can confirm they definitely work. If you're around my age, you're in your 20s or maybe even your late teens, you probably can't really remember a time where you didn't have your phone on you, like 24/7. For us, it's been completely normal to take your phone everywhere and use it for everything. And it's going to be really hard to break a habit that you've had for years, especially when we all pretty much have the same habit. I've been trying to spend less time on my phone on and off for a couple of years now. It's something that I've kind of always wanted to learn how to do, but honestly I've given up a few times because it's been too difficult. But over that time I've learned what does work, what doesn't work, and over the last week I have implemented the things that do work and completely changed the way that I use my phone using the 6 tips that I'm gonna tell you in this video, and none of them involve completely giving up social media. I know you don't want to do that. The simplest and the most impactful thing that I have done to spend less time on my phone is giving my phone its own little home. My phone lives in my side table in my living room, in the little drawer, and this works for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's out of sight, out of mind. You are less likely to use your phone if you can't see it. Seeing your phone in itself is a trigger to pick up your phone, and whether you check the time, check your messages, scroll through Instagram, seeing your phone alone is a trigger to pick it up. If it's sitting next to you while you're working, while you're lying in bed trying to sleep, wherever you are, even watching TV, you'll pick it up anyway just because it's there. And secondly, having it in its own home in an awkward place or in a place that's not really convenient to pick it up from, it's going to make it more difficult to use it. If you have to get up, walk to another room, open a drawer just to get your phone, you're going to think more about whether you actually need to use your phone or if it's just you want to look at it out of habit. So whenever you have something else that you need to be doing, just put your phone in its little home, wherever that is. You know exactly where it is if you need it, but it's not distracting you from what you actually want to be doing. My second tip is to stop taking your phone to bed with you. And I know you're going to have the most resistance towards this tip, and I get it, but it is genuinely life-changing. If you look at your screen time on your phone, you're probably going to notice that a big chunk of the time that you spend on your phone is lying in bed at night before you fall asleep, or when you wake up in the morning and you're lying in bed. And when I stopped taking my phone to bed with me, it was kind of uncomfortable. Like, I've always had my phone right next to me. I've always had it on my bedside table or on the floor next to my bed. It's always been there. So it was uncomfortable and it was weird when it wasn't there the first couple of nights. But after a couple of nights, I didn't want my phone anywhere near my bedroom. It was like I had this newfound freedom from the outside world. Like, when I was going to bed, no one could contact me. No one was getting in that little space, and it was actually really peaceful to go to bed without having this connection to the whole world sitting right next to me, ready to be picked up whenever I decided to pick it up. And it knocked a good few hours off my screen time straight away. If you really don't want to leave your phone in another room when you go to sleep, at least leave it at the opposite side of the room so that you can't pick it up when you're like half sleeping and you're either struggling to sleep or when you wake up in the morning. Make sure it's still out of reach, because you don't need your phone when you're trying to sleep. The third thing that really helps is setting a goal for your screen time. It is much easier to reduce your screen time if you know what you're aiming for. So I've decided I don't want to spend any more than an hour and a half on my phone each day. So if I look at my screen time and I'm getting close to that, I know it's time to put my phone away. If you're like me and you work better with specific goals, with numbers, and you know exactly when you've hit that goal, this will really help you cut down your screen time. In the past, when I've tried to reduce the amount of time I'm spending on my phone, but without deciding on an actual number, an actual amount of time that was my limit, Honestly, I've just kept the same habits and nothing's changed. I've maybe tried to put my phone down a little bit more for a day or two, but overall it doesn't stick because I don't have a clear goal to work towards. And for me, honestly, it's quite satisfying to see that I'm staying below that number and I'm not going over that number that I've set. That makes me happy. The next thing that really helps is having a reason why you don't want to spend all your time on your phone. You're motivated now to reduce the time you're spending on your phone, but when you're 45 minutes into a TikTok binge, what's going to convince you out of it? Having a reason why you're reducing your screen time is what's going to give you the motivation to get off your phone when you're spending a bit too much time on it. What would you rather you spent your time on? Maybe your mind just feels cluttered from the constant stream of information through social media and you just need a break from it. Or maybe you'd rather be spending that time working on a goal. For me, I want to be more productive and spend more time working towards my goals than sitting scrolling through Instagram and Facebook when I don't really care that much about what I'm looking at. But I know I get into that trap and I will sit there for hours, so I want to consciously reduce the amount of time I'm doing that so I can use that time on my goals instead. Usually the reason of because I know it's not good for me, it's not specific enough, it's not a good enough reason to stop you doing something. So try and get really specific on why you want to stop using your phone so much. The next thing you can do that I found really helpful is to set up your phone to block apps at certain times. When are you most likely to binge on your phone? Set up downtime to block all the apps on your phone between certain hours so that it's more difficult to use them. Or if you still want to be able to use the apps but limit how much time you spend on them, then you can set up app limits within the settings of your screen time. When you get to that time, it'll give you a little kind of reminder. Basically, that's your time up on this app, but you can get past that. So I would recommend when you're really trying to focus on something else, have your phone completely out of sight. But when you are using your phone, it definitely does help to give you that little reminder of this isn't what I want to be doing, and it kind of gives you a little nudge to get off your phone. So the last tip that I think a lot of people overlook, but is probably one of the most important parts, is to reward yourself for sticking to your new phone boundaries. Especially while you're breaking these habits that you've had for so long with your phone, it might not feel the most rewarding. There are going to be times that all you want to do is scroll through your phone for hours on end. And some of the benefits of not being on your phone all the time, they might not show up straight away. It might take a few days or even a few weeks before you're actually getting the benefits of not spending all your time on your phone. So give yourself little rewards every time you stick to your screen time goal. Don't reward yourself with an hour of scrolling through Instagram or a TikTok binge because that completely defeats the purpose. But reward yourself with your favourite food or a bath with all the bath bombs and candles and like the whole shebang. Like, have a proper real bath. That actually sounds like a good plan. I might do that. But you are more likely to stick to something if you get a reward for doing it. There's nothing wrong with praising yourself for breaking habits, building habits, achieving goals. It's actually a really important part of the process. So make sure you make some time to do that. If you like this video, you might like my video about how to make your phone more productive. I share a bunch of things that you can do in that video that will help you use your phone more productively when you are using it, because it's not always possible to just not use your phone. But we don't want to get sucked into wasting all our time on our phones either. So I'll link that video on the screen for you to watch next. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.